Before we talk Arsenal on this show, we always discuss the day's big footballing talking points. And of course, sadly, one of those talking points was the racial abuse that Paul Pogba suffered on social media. To be honest with you, there is no debate. Absolutely disgusting. No place for it in modern society. But what is worth mentioning is the way that Manchester United and their players have responded. And probably the pick of them, and one of the first, was Harry Maguire. He basically says here, disgusting social media, need to do something about it. Every account that is open should be verified by a passport or a driving licence. Stop these pathetic trolls making numerous accounts to abuse people. We all applaud Harry Maguire there, and also all of his teammates have piled in. Abuse one of us, you abuse all of us. So Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rashford as well. I think really, as I said, there is no debate about the content, but the fact that people are saying, you know, enough is enough. Something has to be done, doesn't it, by the social media platforms. Frank Lampard said a similar thing after Tammy Abraham was abused as well.
Yeah, well, we've seen it, 3 instances in the last couple of weeks, and it's just not acceptable. And, how many more do we have to receive or players receive before these social media platforms do something about it? And, there's no bigger club in the world than the Manchester United players club coming out with statements to try and hopefully do something about it. So it's not acceptable.
I mean, it's hard to put your mind into the mind of a moron, but these are allegedly their own fans. They purport to be fans.
They're not fans, but
it might be pretending to be Man United fans. It might be whoever knows it. Whatever it is, let's not give them time. Get rid of them, but please step in and stop. Change it. Again, like football needs to. Yeah. You can do this. You have the power to do it. No one's stopping you.
Football has far too high a profile to allow these morons to attach themselves to it. OK, we did say we were going to talk Arsenal, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is saying, listen, we don't rule ourselves out of the title this season. And perhaps even more interestingly, Stan Kroenke's son, Josh Kroenke, who works at the club, is involved in it. He's talking about it too, and possibly intriguing as well is that it looks as though the club have injected money, the owners have injected money. We don't know for sure, they won't confirm, but if that is the case, that's quite a departure from the last decade.
Well, it has, and being an Arsenal fan since I was a young kid, I've been frustrated over the years, as many Arsenal fans, of course, moved into the new stadium, wonderful place to play football. And then what we was expecting then was an influx of, these top world-class players come to the club instead of going to your Manchester Cities, your Uniteds, your Chelseas. And we just didn't quite see it. Yes, they've had good players, but we've always known in the background the Kroenkes have got the money. They're up there as one of the wealthiest people, in the Premier League. Now, why have they never really piled that money into the playing side of it, giving Wenger hundreds and hundreds of millions? Don't get me wrong, he's given him money over the years. But we're kind of seeing it now with the signing of Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette in the club. And I'm excited this year about watching Arsenal, see how they fare against. I think it's going to be a 3-way challenge for 4th place in terms of Manchester United, Chelsea and Arsenal. And I actually tipped them at the beginning of the season to finish 4th. I don't know why, I just like the front three. I could see them three playing together.
I thought you would.
I could just see them playing together, just like the United and Martial, Rashford, Lingard, James. So it's going to be a real fascinating season, see how they fare.
Well, let's go to this tweet straight away then. How many players away are Arsenal from becoming serious title contenders?
I think that there's one area, obviously their defence, but without a couple of sitting midfielders or one sitting midfielder in front of that defence, it's going to be hard in the Premier League, and it's no surprise to me that Kante has won a couple of winners' medals for different clubs because he snuffs things out. Maybe they're a little bit young in that role, and I liked Torreira last year, and he's not getting in at the minute. So Guendouzi looks fantastic, but normally young ones in there need a bit of a soldier next to him, and we go all the way back. Sir Alex Ferguson was a genius back in the day because kids can't do it. Well, the blend that he had with kids, the leaders he had in that team. the kids were just part of that, you know, and that wouldn't have worked. So I'm just questioning if David Luiz can get his head down and not just think about passing and actually lead that defensive situation, because I never liked Mustafi myself, you know, he always looked like a wreck in him and he was all over the option.
Well,
and Holding might be back as well. So,
yeah,
you know, I'm just a little bit concerned about the two midfielders
that would be
in
my
front of that.
concerns as well. I'm not saying, you know, I'm talking about finishing a Champions League spot where they haven't been for quite a while now. So
would that be a major result for you?
I think so, yeah. I think it's progression. I think they can get to January and they might add again if we're hearing's true. There's going to be money available. Go and get that defensive midfielder. Go and get another powerhouse centre-half. Really make yourself a strong challenger. But in terms of the title, I don't see anyone challenging City or Liverpool for a bit. But I think progression for Arsenal to get in the Champions League is the main priority this year.
But away form, they've got to sort out that away form.
Yeah, because
they had a soft underbelly away from
Newcastle, they were poor, weren't they, for quite a long period of time there. So, yeah, if they can, I think get to January, if they can add to the squad and they're sitting in a healthy position, then they might have a chance, yeah.
I would have fancied Cahill. I know Cahill's gone to Palace, but do you know what I mean? If you had David Luiz and Cahill.
Yeah.
Experience and...
Yeah, and then a young one. If you put a young one, you know, you see Chelsea's at the minute, a little bit vulnerable, you know, later on. I really like Zuma, but they need Rudiger to get fit again.
Well,
you can't have babies back there, mate. It don't work.
That's why tonight we went for a young one and an old one.